Hey guys, this channel is starting as a request from a few buddies of mine who say they aren't financially literate and just wanted some help. I don't intend on this blowing up whatsoever. This is purely for you and your guys' financial future. I'm going to do this all in one take. I'm not going to edit this whatsoever. You already know my sketchy work quality. My thumbnail will probably be done on word art. And I just want to preface this by saying that I am not a financial advisor. I'm not certified in any way. I do have a degree in finance, but obviously some mistakes were there. This is how I was given that. But throughout the weeks, I'm just going to push out videos when I have time, explaining certain things that you probably don't care about, but just listen to me just this once, guys. Okay? For all you Gen Z and millennials, just believe me when I say that the only thing that we truly need to get rich is time. Okay? So we'll begin first. Assuming that you work right now to any degree and you're collecting a paycheck either weekly or bi-weekly, hopefully you're not spending the entire thing at once. Hopefully you're just putting it into your bank and spending it as needed. Unfortunately, even that is a problem nowadays because of how high inflation has gone at around 9%. What I believe is the simplest and foolproof method to grow your wealth is to just take a chunk of your paycheck, whatever you're not spending, and then just drop it into the S&P 500, which is just a very simple collection of the top 500 companies in America. On average, this grows around 10% of the year. And with the S&P 500, there's probably a 90% chance that your money will grow year to year. And the longer you keep your money in, the less chance you have of losing money. The fund that I would actually go ahead and recommend to drop all your money into is VOO, which is Vanguard's S&P 500 fund. And the math behind this is pretty simple. Say you have $10,000 of red envelope money or just sitting in your piggy bank. You take it all out, you drop it into VOO, and then you continuously put in $500 every month for the next 40 years. And then for a conservative estimate, instead of 10%, we'll use 8%. All of a sudden, when you're 66, you'll have $2 million. Most of the compound happens later in the year, so until you're 35 and married, you probably won't see much difference, but just trust compound interest, eighth wonder of the world. You will see money made. Now, some of us may not have the patience to sit around for the full 40 years to finally pull out our millions of dollars, so I've devised a different approach that generates cash flow now and will also continuously grow over time. It's a bit more complicated, but it can get us a very close rate of return in comparison to the S&P 500, and this is with growth dividends. The fund that I propose is SCHD, which is Schwab's dividend fund. It's just a collection of about 100 companies that pay a growing dividend year over year. The current yield for this is just about 3.26%, but it does specialize in an annual growing dividend, so we can safely expect this to compound on top of itself as well. The one criticism that I get when I tell people that I go heavily into this fund is that it lacks a lot of tech and innate growth by itself, since it's focusing so heavily in cash flow through the years. Very simple answer is that we can mainly just blend this ourselves by buying some extra Apple and Microsoft, and obviously Johnson & Johnson on top of that. Apple and Microsoft will cover our tech front. J&J will cover that one big dividend aristocrat and king that we do not have in the fund. I'll make a separate video explaining that, and I'll also run you through the math in the next video explaining how this has been proven to beat the S&P 500 for a few years. It does not beat it every year, but in life you don't always get to win, right? So we have to be okay with that. And then the next asset that you can invest in is, it's obviously cryptocurrency. This is something that I've gained a pretty bad reputation for because I had so much skin in the game and now I have no skin left. But I still have no doubt that this will eventually run our future. Just make it a very small 5% of your portfolio or 2% of your net worth now while it's cheap, and then wait for the next halving cycle and take your profits, and then rinse and repeat that same process. The only thing that we do need is time and faith. I personally focus heavily into the utility coins that are actually regulated, and I'll also make a separate video on that later on. In the meantime, just do what you want. Don't cry at me, okay? After that, we have NFTs. It's rather a traumatic experience for me. I spent $1,000 on this one Hippo here, and now it's currently worth probably just under $100. Am I okay? Absolutely not. I held like 5 of these little shits, but it was an expensive lesson that I've come to tell you to stay away from these for now. Maybe it'll blow back up, but for now, just stay away from these. The one asset that I do want to bring to your attention is something a little childish, but I believe in it. It's Pokemon cards. These began release in the late 90s, so around the same time that most of us were born. If any of my colleagues are watching this, I'm sorry. Don't tell my boss. Of course, with supply and demand, they no longer make these vintage cards, so they're now worth thousands. If by chance you have any of these lying around, go ahead and price check them or send them to me. I'll do that for you. You may just have a fortune already on your hands, but even if you don't, just remember that whatever you do today, whatever you did yesterday, tomorrow when you wake up, the sun will still rise, and it'll rise again the day after, which means that time is always passing. So the 90s felt like yesterday, but 2050 is probably going to feel like tomorrow. So just in case it does decide to blow up again, I would go ahead and pick up a few of these. I was actually already doing it myself. Probably see that I was trying to rip off some kids earlier today, but they declined my offer. It's okay. So just buy a few of these, keep them safe for the next 20 years, and then take them back out later, and all of a sudden they're worth a relic. Okay, so that's all for today. Stay safe, guys. Bye.